Hello, students. Welcome to you all in this lecture. That is the lecture of the unit number 2, that is transducer, and subject is power system instrumentation, and the code is EE311 as per the our university curriculum. But one thing I want to tell you, my dear student, that power system instrumentations is totally deals with the instrumentation part. The word instrumentation come from instrument, and instrument why we use basically in the system. We use in the system to measure and measure as per your desired level. Desired level means of if I'm getting a signal in a simple, not a simple form. Now I want to do what? I want to convert that into a simple form for measuring purpose. So if I want to convert that signal into my desired signal for measuring purpose, that for that purpose we use some components, some devices. So this is the part of it. That means the transducer is again a part of power system instrumentation. So as per the my previous lectures, I already told you one thing, that the power system instrumentation is a main subject of power system. Why it is a main? Because we have two main subjects in electrical engineering. One is the power system, because if I'm talking about the electrical, so we also use electrical power. Always we say is electrical energy, and energy is basically relation with the power and the time, you can see. So power is there. So if I'm talking about the electrical system, so I am talking about the power system. So power system is the main subject, and another one is the machine. So in this power system, we having so many parts. We having so many parts means we having how we generate electrical power, means convert electrical power, then in which level we transmit it, and then distribute it. Okay, and how can we generate it? Generate it means how can we convert from one form to the another, because energy conservation laws says one thing, that energy neither be created or nor be destroyed. It can be transformed or changed from one part to the another part, or one form to the another form. So we are not basically generating, but we are converting it. But we always used to say generating station, power station. Okay, so that is the transmission, distribution, and generation. Then we having, if we are transmitting the power, for example, I'm generating one power from the generating station, that is nuclear power plant. I'm considering one thing. It generates at 11 kV, 50 hertz. Now I'm stepping up to the 765 kV, that is the highest level in our India, or we always called as 100 kV, 800 kV. 800 kV is the basically transmission system's highest voltage level, that is 800 kV. So we transmit or step up to the 765 or 800 kV, then step down into 400, then step down into 220, then step down into what? 132. Then after 132, in certain regions or certain states we have 66, but in certain we don't have 66. Then 33. Then we have the 11. So we start from 11, ends to the 11. So in this labeling up and down, we need a switch gear, we need instruments to measure the current. Measure the current. Why? If I'm talking about, my dear student, the voltage level of high level means if I'm talking about 220 kilovolt, okay, I'm talking about 400 kilovolt, though corresponding to this the current is level is also high, maybe in kiloamperes. So it is not feasible to us that we can easily measure a kiloampere current with a meter, with a meter. So though we have to do what? We have to do something to basically convert or change the level of current to the desired level of ammeter to me for the measuring purpose. So we has instrument transformers. Okay. For this, if I want convert one form of this signal into the another form, basically we have some mechanical system convert into electrical system. Then we have this transducer. Okay, so I hope you better understand about the power system instrumentation later on my lectures. But the main motto to tell you one thing, that Power system instrumentation is important subject. Why is it important? Because we having some instrumentation part in it. Some instrumentation is coming from the word instrument. So we are talking about the instruments, the devices which we are using for the measuring purpose, for the measurement purpose. So I hope you understand one thing that is here. Now moving forward, the objective of my lecture. Now, if I'm delivering something, if I'm telling you something, if I'm teaching you something, my dear student, though there will be some motto for me, some objective is be there. My objective is there. If a student want to study, the student is want to study, the student have to know that what will I go to study in this lecture. Okay, so the objective of to deliver this lecture from my side is that help the learner means you means student, help the student another way to understand basics of instrument used for measurement of pressure. Okay, so in this lecture I will tell you about the measurement of pressure. They are the transducers. They are basically the transducer. That is why in the starting I'll tell you the in my starting of the lecture means after this I'll again tell you the transducer type. But the transducer type is totally based on the transduction, based on the basically working. So today I'm talking about the transducer also, but the basic thing is that I'm talking only for the measurement of pressure. In the previous lecture, we talked about the strain gauge, measurement of the stresses over the or the strain. Before that lecture, we basically used the linear displacement. So displacement measurement was there. Then in the strain gauge, we having what? LVDT, RVDT is basically for the linear displacement measurement. Okay, and before this, the strain gauge for the measurement of stresses. Okay, now in this lecture, what I will tell you basically what I will teach you. Okay, one thing is that the measurement of pressure. So how can we measure the pressure, in which way, through which instrument? So many instruments are available in the market, but which instrument is useful to us and me and you also, that we can purchase that instrument, and we can borrow that instrument from the market for the measurement purpose, or which measurement? Pressure. So help the learner or student to understand basics of instrument used for the measurement of pressure. Secondly, understand the types and working instruments used for measurement of pressure. Means understand the types and working instruments, which are types, what are the types of we have and working instruments we have used for measurement of pressure. Now transducer, again I am starting from here, because if I am starting about the measurement of pressure, though we have to use the measurement of pressure transducer, means the transducer which is used for the measurement of pressure. But before this, the what is transformer, my dear student? So I'm repeating, I am revising this thing, that a transducer is a device. A transducer is a device, is an element, is a component that converts one form of energy to the another, one form of energy to the another, mechanical to the electrical, electrical to the mechanical, mechanical to the electrical. Means mechanical is there, voltage and current electrical. Now current voltage there, mechanical is there, so we can convert, means vice versa we can do. So one form of energy to the another. Energy types include but are not limited to. They include but not limited to, my dear students, electrical, mechanical, electromagnetic, chemical, acoustic, and thermal energy. So we can use these form and convert into the another form. So they are not limited. We can say the word which the statement which I'm written basically I write here, that is the but are not limited to, means it is not fixed. It is not fixed to these type of energy. They can use for the another energy. But the basic thing, the basic work is that one form of energy to the another. Electrical to mechanical, mechanical to electrical, electromagnetic to mechanical, electrical to electromagnetic, chemical to electrical, electrical to chemical, acoustic to electrical, electrical to acoustic, thermal energy to electrical, electrical to thermal energy. But why I'm using always electrical, my dear student? Because this is a subject which we are studying in the electrical engineering branch. So we have to make one thing clear, that if I'm talking about the energy, so it means I'm always talking about the electrical energy, because this subject is basically in the electrical engineering branch. So always I'm talking about what? Electrical energy. So convert one form of energy to the electrical energy, that is known as electrical transducer, one form of energy to the mechanical energy, that is mechanical transducer, and inverse of it, converting mechanical to electrical. Okay. Usually, a transducer convert a signal in one form of energy to the signal in another. So, one form of energy signal or to the another signal, it's converted. So that is the basic. Now, next, classification of transducer. Now, my dear student, if I'm talking about the classification of transducers, so as I earlier told you, on the basis of transduction form used, capacitive, inductive, electromagnetic, uh, and photovoltaic, piezoelectric. As primary and secondary transducer, I'm talking about primary directly converting, secondary means primary need no source, any source, but in secondary we need a source. Passive directly convert into the form, passive not directly convert into the form, not directly convert into the form, means we need some another thing, means intermediate state. For example, converting electrical into magnetic, magnetic into mechanical, motor, you can say. Active, directly converting into the form, that is piezoelectric crystal. Applying the force, we are getting the voltage, that is active transducer. Analog and digital transducer, analog one for the discrete value, but digital one for the two values, 0 and 1. Binary, 0 for the low and high is for 1 is for the high. So analog and digital transducers, as per the transducers classification is available here. These are the classification of transducer. Now, as do transducer and inverse transducer. So I earlier told you, converting mechanical to electrical, we need electrical transducer. But if we do what, the reverse of it, converting again electrical to some other thing, that is mechanical or whatever. The example of this one is piezoelectric crystal again. If we apply force on it, mechanical, we are getting electrical. But if I am applying electrical to that piezoelectric, it changes dimension, displacement. Okay, my dear student. So now moving forward. Now manometer. Now today's main topic we having to, which we are going to study. Our instrument used to measure pressure are called pressure gauges or vacuum gauges. Our instrument used to measure pressure. Basically, what we are going to measure the pressure, are called pressure gauges or vacuum gauges. We called as what? Pressure gauges or vacuum gauges. A manometer is an instrument that uses a column of liquid. Means we are having two columns of liquid to measure pressure. How it measures the pressure? It basically uses a column of liquid. What is basically it use? It use a column of liquid to measure pressure. To measure what, my dear student? Pressure. Although the term is currently often used to mean any pressure measuring instrument. Often we can use what? We can say any pressure measuring instrument. But if anyone asks you what is manometer, my dear student, and why I'm studying this manometer in this stream, in this transducer. So a transducer is basically, if we want to measure the pressure, though we need an instrument, that instrument is known as manometer. That is called as manometer. And used to measure pressure, we can also gauge pressure gauges or vacuum gauges. We can use the pressure gauge and vacuum gauge to measure the pressure. We are having a pressure. If you want to measure the air pressure, then we are having the tire inflators. The example is that one in the PSI form. If you want to fill the air in your vehicle tire, if you're having a car, okay, and if you uh, want to fill, want to check that the tire of my car is filled with the accurate air pressure. If low air pressure is there, the chance of puncture will be have to take place. If higher pressure, the chance of burst will be there. Okay, though chance of burst, high air pressure, chance of puncture, low air pressure. So between this, we have basically the car selling company basically having some certain measures. They always tell you that you have to maintain the air pressure in your car's tire of this level 32 36 psi. So you have to maintain it. So there, here for measurement, the basically we you have a if you have a tire inflator with you, that may be the automatic, might maybe the manual. So if tire inflator with you, there is a some gauge on it that shows you that how much air pressure presently is in the tire. If you fit that pressure gauge with that tire, and if it is showing you low, then you push and basically push manually or by the button and increase the pressure by filling the air into that tire. That shows that is the example of the basically tire inflator. But here we have the gauges through which we can identify or measure the pressure. So pressure gauges or vacuum gauges are available, and manometer is an instrument which use liquid, column of liquid, not air, column of liquid, to measure pressure. Although the term is currently often used to mean any pressure measuring instrument. So if anyone asks you that what is manometer, my dear student, so you can directly say one thing: the manometer is basically the pressure measuring instrument. The pressure measuring instrument. The pressure measuring instrument is basically the pressure gauges, and we can say what, my dear student? The pressure gauges and what we can say? We can say what, my dear student? The pressure gauges and vacuum gauges. But specifically for the manometer, we can say it is a pressure measuring instrument. Now, so many pressure measuring instrument we have. Now talking about the manometer, it is basically a simple way to understand the pressure. Now, here we are having the U-type structure. Here we are having the U-type structure. The gauge pressure is given to P minus P naught, that is PGS. Here we are having the liquid filled in it in a U-shape. That is the reference fluid. Density is rho basically, and liquid may be water or mercury. What we have, we filled with the water or mercury. Now this is the unknown pressure we have. The ambient fluid atmospheric pressure in most cases. Atmospheric pressure in most cases we use P naught, but unknown pressure which we want to measure, we applied here. Fluid of interest gas in most cases. Fluid of interest gas in most cases. In most cases, we identify the gas pressure. In most cases. So it is basically the manometer in which we having the liquid. Liquid may be in the form of water or mercury. Reference fluid density is already given. That the fixed density we have. One pressure we already have, that is atmospheric pressure, ambient fluid atmospheric pressure, and second pressure is the unknown pressure, which we basically want to find. So that is basically of the air or air, we can say. But another thing is the gas in the most cases. Any cases, if you want to know the pressure of that gas, so we have to apply it here, unknown, and it is already known. So I hope you understand about the manometer. Now moving forward, the type of manometer that is given here, that is your inclined type manometer. Which type? Some inclination is there, so it is known as inclined type manometer. So inclined type manometer, my dear student, the inclined tube manometer is an enlarged lag manometer. The lag is enlarged manometer with its measuring lag inclined to the vertical axis by angle B. By angle what, my dear student? Angle B. Angle B is here. The inclined tube manometer is enlarged lag manometer. So here the lag, if I am having a lag, so it is enlarged like this. So enlarged lag manometer with its measuring lag inclined to the vertical axis. With its measuring lag inclined to the vertical axis by an angle B. I am considering the angle B here. This is done to expand the scale. This is do which why we are doing here, my dear student. This is done to expand the scale, and thereby to increase the sensitivity. What basically we are doing, in the previous we having used structure, but this is the inclined. So here the one in leg is inclined. Why we are inclining this thing? Sensitivity is increasing and the scale is also increasing. So expand the scale and thereby to increase the sensitivity. For this motto, for this purpose, we are using this inclined type manometer. Now the differential pressure can be written by the equation P1 minus P2. We have to rho G ds sine theta or sine psi. Rho G ds sine sine. G is the cavity, rho is the given water, ds the we having the pressure is given. So sine. So the expression for the differential pressure. Differential is P1 minus P2. One is already known, another we have to one is known, another is unknown. So we can find out with the help of this. Now see how it look like this. It is looking like this. So see here, in this we having P1 and we having P2. If two pressures are there, here we having the liquid. So this is the inclined way, a lag is increasing and the height is also increasing, and corresponding to this the scale is also increasing, which is already written here. See, the inclined tube manometer is an enlarged lag manometer with its measuring lag inclined to the vertical axis. Now here it is inclined like this. See, in this it is inclined, and if I'm inclining this to vertical axis by an angle B, it is increasing by the angle B. Now it is inclining like this, B. Okay, this is done to expand the scale. We are expanding what? The scale, and thereby to increase the sensitivity. Now sensitivity will be increased. Now the differential pressure equation is already given. So see here, in this we having the liquid filled in, water or mercury, whatever it is. B, it is the angle, by the angle B. A2 is here, atmospheric pressure, air is here. A1 is already in the air. P1 and P2, two pressures which we want. The difference of it, we can identify the pressures. Sure. Okay. So I hope you understand, better understand with the diagram. Okay. Now moving forward. Well type manometer. So manometer is the pressure measuring instrument or pressure measuring transducer. We can say, if you want the instrument which is used for the measuring purpose. So pressure measuring instrument is manometer. Previously manometer having the column of liquid, in which one pressure is basically unknown to us and second is known to us, that is at the atmospheric pressure. And liquid generally we use two types, water or mercury. So their density will be given to us, will be known to us. So that is manometer. In inclined manometer, my dear student, but I am talking about the inclined manometer. So inclined having the inclination like this. So in this inclination we have increasing the scale, and through this scale we have increasing the measurement also with the sensitivity. Okay, I hope you understand. Now the pressure is applied to a fluid well attached to a single indicating tube. Here we have the fluid well. In manometer we having the U-shaped structure, U-shaped structure, but in inclined we having some inclined thing. We are inclining. In this we having some well structure. Which type of structure? A well. Well is a source of water. We can say we can store a water in a well. So well is there. So we are having a fluid well. Now here the pressure is applied to a fluid well. What we are applying? We are applying pressure is to a fluid well attached to a single indicating tube. Notice attached to what? A single indicating tube. Attached to a single indicating tube. Okay. As the fluid moves down in a well, if I'm moving something towards the well, moving down to in a well, the fluid is displaced into smaller indicating lag. Now the fluid is displayed, is basically not placing, it is displaced into the smaller indicating lag of the manometer, into the smaller indicating lag of manometer. Okay, this permits direct reading on a single scale. This permits you what? Direct reading. We can directly read, we can directly read on a single scale. Okay, now what we are having basically in this, we having the pressure is applied to a fluid. In this, what we are going to apply, we are applying pressure to a fluid well. Basically, well is there attached to a single indicating tube. Attached to what, my dear student? Single indicating tube. As the fluid moves down in a well, as a fluid moves down in a well, the fluid is displaced into the smaller indicating leg. Now, smaller indicating leg of a manometer that permits direct reading on a single scale. We can directly read on a single scale how much pressure in psi we have. Okay. Now, the well type manometer utilize the principle of volume balance. So, if I am doing so there will be some principle behind this. On which principle we are working, through which principle we are basically measuring this thing. Though the well type manometer utilize the principle of volume balance. Of which balance? Volume balance. Wherein the fluid displaced from the well is equal to the added fluid in the smaller indicator. Now see here, we having the volume balance. We are volume basically balancing the volume. How we are balancing the volume? Wherein the fluid displaced from the well, fluid is basically displacing from the well, moving. We are basically taking out from the well is equal to the added fluid in the smaller indicating column. Added fluid in the smaller indicating column. Okay. See here. Now here we having the applied pressure. Well is there filled with the fluid, that may be the water and the mercury. That may be the what, my dear students? Water and mercury. So here we are having the water and mercury and wall of the basically uh, the valve of what? Liquid. As I earlier told you, the manometer always works with the column of liquid. So I am having a column of the liquid. In the inclined, we having some inclination angle. Now it is behaving like a valve. So we having a valve structure, valve system. So in that valve, we having the basically we store the liquid. Here we apply the pressure, then it moves like this, displays, and it gives you the reading on the scale, how much pressure we have. So that is the valve type manometer. Okay, now I hope you understand. Mechanical pressure measuring element. Now, before this, basically, I'm talking about the pressure measuring. So they may be the air or gas pressure measuring. Now, in this, we having so many pressures. Now, in this, what I want to tell you basically, what I want to teach you, or what we are going to study, the mechanical pressure measuring elements. Which type of elements? Mechanical pressure measuring. Which type of mechanical pressure we have? So we have to measure these things. So mechanical pressure measuring elements we are going to study in this part. Now burden tube pressure gauges. The burden tube pressure gauge is basically what? The measuring element of a burden tube pressure gauge is a C shape. It is a C shape or helical metal tube. Which type of tube? Helical metal tube. Close at one end. Basically, it is like this. Close at one end. Okay. For pressure ranges up to 40 bar. How much the pressure range we can find? Up to 40 bar. Up to how much bar we can range? Pressure ranges up to 40 bar. Okay. The tube has an oval cross section. The tube has which type of cross section? Oval cross section. And the shape of a C, and the shape of a C. Basically, this C structure we have like this or like this. For higher pressure ranges, the tube is bent into the shape of a helix. Now, the tube we are banting in a shape of helix. The oval cross section is obtained during the banding. The oval cross section is obtained during the banding. So, one thing is there, the previous, basically, the manometer is the pressure measuring instrument, pressure measuring transducer, we can say. But the previous we having manometer is simple, which basically measure the pressure with the help of the we can say the column of liquid, and that liquid is basically water or mercury. Okay, understand? Liquid matter is mercury, and liquid element we can say the liquid is water. But in this, And in that manometer we having inclined and well. U structure is always there, that is the basic manometer, but we having two types. One is the inclined, another one is the well, another one is the source, or we can say well, or we can say a reservoir for that. Okay. Now this is the mechanical pressure gauge. The difference between the manometer and the this Bourdon tube and this thing is that previous one, the manometer is pressure measuring instrument, so we are pressure measuring is usually of gases, air and some of them. But if I'm talking about the mechanical pressure gauges, means in a bar we use this instrument, that is Bourdon tube pressure gauge. And this Bourdon tube pressure gauge is what? In this, the measuring element of Bourdon tube pressure gauge is a C shape. That is just like a C shape or helical metal tube closed at one end. It is closed at one end. Closed at one end. For pressure ranges up to 40 bar. The ranges is fixed for the measurement is up to 40 bar. Up to 40 bar, my dear student. Not more than it. Not 40 by, not 42, not 41, not 44, not 43. It is up to what? 40 bar. Okay. I hope you understand. Now the tube has an oval cross section. The tube has an what? The oval cross section. Which type of cross section we have? Oval cross section, my dear student. Oval cross section. And the shape of a sheep. The shape of a C structure. For higher pressure ranges, the tube is bent into the shape of helix. It makes a shape of helix. The oval cross section is obtained during the banding. Which type of cross section we have at the time of banding, my dear student? At the time of banding, we have the cross section of, we can say, obtained during the banding. Now, Bourdon tube. What is it? If anyone asks you in a simple manner, in a simple way, what is it? So, curved metallic tubes with elliptical cross section. These are the curved metallic tubes with elliptical cross section. Which type of cross section? Elliptical. Sealed at one end. It is closed with the one end. Closed. One end is open, one is closed. Tends to straighten when pressure applied. Tends to straighten. When we apply the pressure, it tends to straighten. Okay. Angular sensitivity proportional to the pressure applied. Now, angular sensitivity which applies in it is basically proportional to the pressure applied. Which how much pressure we are applying, so that convert basically that having the angular sensitivity. So we can say the angular sensitivity is proportional to the pressure applied. Which type of pressure and how much amount of pressure we are applying, so we can identify this. Okay. Now the basic structure of Bourdon tube. See here, it is very easy to understand. Here we have the dial, the pointer moves, the Bourdon tube. This is the tube, C structure. Tube and piece is there. There is a link where we connect. Here we have the two teeth segments we have. These all are. This is the movement. This is what? Through which is move. Through which it moving like this. There we having the socket system. Applying pressure here. This is the socket system we have. Having what? The socket system. So it is the C structure. Now see what having curved metallic tubes with the C elliptical cross section, sealed at one end. So we having the sealed at one end. Okay, tends to straighten when pressure apply. If I am applying to pressure, then it behaving. It's basically like this. Now opening like this. Okay, understand? Then we having angular sensitivity is proportional to the pressure applied. This type of pressure we are applying, so the angular sensitivity is proportional. We can calculate in the form of angle. We can calculate the angular sensitivity. Okay. Now it is look like this. C structure. Having a pointer in it. Bourdon tube is whole this thing. It is a tube of C shape. Tube and pieces connected with the end. A link where we have to connect. Link is there. A two-third segment is there. Movement where we can move through this. It will move. A pointer will move. A socket is there. Here we apply. So I hope you understand about the Bourdon tube pressure gauge. Now, capsule pressure gauges. The previous one is the Bourdon tube. It is a C structure closed with the one end. When we apply the force on it, pressure if we want to apply, then it bands basically. It bands, and through this we can apply, we can calculate or we can measure the pressure. Okay, now Now the capsule pressure gauges are used in gas technology application for low pressure gauges. Now if I want to measure the pressure in the gas technology, in the which technology? Gas technology. So we use this type of gauges, that is capsule pressure gauges. And the application for low pressure ranges. Application for low pressure ranges. Where the we require low pressure, we use this capsule pressure gauges. In this, what we having? Two concentrically, two concentrically shaped diaphragms. We having two concentrically shaped diaphragms are connected at the outer edge. In this, what we having? The two concentrically shaped diaphragms are connected at the outer edge. One edge is there at the outer edge by means of welding or soldering. I can weld it or solder it. Okay. One diaphragm has an opening in the center. One diaphragm has opening in the center, middle one, through which the gas to be measured. Through which we having the gas to be measured can flow it. We can flow it. Okay, measured gas can flow it, or we can measure it. Okay. Now the pressure in the capsule causes it R to outside. What happens? The pressure in the capsule causes it arch to the outside. Arch to the outside. A deflection lever at opposite side of the inlet opening transmits. A deflection level at the opposite side of the inlet opening transmits the linear displacement. What it transmits? Transmits the linear displacement to a movement. Linear displacement to a movement and convert into the rotating movement. It moving. It rotate. Convert into the rotating. Okay. So it look like this. A capsule pressure gauge. So we having two diaphragms. Diaphragm capsule here, we can apply pressure. So one arch is there, one moving outside, one either side, and that we can measure with the help of this scale, with the help of this meter, with the help of this we can say scale. In that scale, we having the pointer here. So how it works? See again. Are used in the gas technology application for low pressure ranges. Okay, two concentrically shaped diaphragms we have are connected at the outer edges. At where? At the outer edges by the means of welding or soldering. We are connecting this with the means of welding or soldering, not just we using a bearing system. We just screws there. We basically do what? We having welding or soldering we are doing. One diagram has opening in the center through which the gas to be measured can flow. We can flow the gas to that diaphragm. It is in the center, and the pressure in the capsule. This is the pressure in the capsule. Positive arch to the outside wall. A deflection lever that we can call as a pointer at opposite sides of the inlet opening transmits the linear displacement to movement and convert into a rotating movement. Now it rotate, convert to a rotating movement. Diaphragms are there and convert into the rotating movement. So this is the capsule pressure gauges. Okay. So this is what the capsule pressure gauge. Okay. Now I'm revising one thing again, starting from the previous one. One thing is that basically the manometer. A manometer is used to measure the pressure, are called pressure gauge or vacuum gauges. So in manometer, basically what we are basically want to understand, that in manometer we want to measure the pressure gauge. But how can we measure the pressure gauge? Though in this we having a column of liquid. In this what we have? A column of liquid to measure pressure. Column of liquid, and liquid may be the water or mercury. So simple structure is look like this. Here we having the reference fluid, density is rho, liquid may be water or mercury, pressure given like this, ambient fluid is already given here, that is P naught, and the under pressure is P. So P minus P naught we can find out, and PGH is here rho, and G is the gravity. Okay. Then fluid of interest, gas in most cases, in which most cases we use what, the pressure which we want to measure it basically of what, my dear student, of gases. Okay. Now this is the manometer. inclined manometer. We having some inclined wave. See here. In this inclined, we having the pressure which we are applying. The another pressure is 2. Now we inclined something, and that inclination is basically making the angle, that is B. So we can difference of it we can find. That is the which type of inclined type manometer. Basically, we having a shape of U structure. Basically, we have which type of shape? A U structure. Then we having the inclined. This is the inclined. Next is the well type. This type of manometer, my dear student, a well type manometer. This type of manometer, my dear student, tell me which type of manometer. That is the basically which type? Well type. Well type manometer. In this well type manometer, I filled the liquid in a well. We having a well which is filled with the liquid. Okay, and the pressure is applied to the fluid valve attached to a single indicating tube. We are having the which type of fluid? A single indicating tube. As the fluid moves down in a well, as the fluid moves down in a well, the fluid is displaced into the smaller indicating leg. Displaced into the smaller indicating leg of manometer. Move like this. This permits direct reading on a single scale. A scale is there, directly we can find out. Okay, so the well type manometer utilize the principle of volume balance. Which type of principle we are using? A volume balance principle, wherein the fluid displaced from the well is equal to the added fluid in the smaller indicator. When we are having a fluid well and we are adding, so it's moving, so we can justify or basically calculate the well. Now see here, applying the pressure in a well, what will happen? It moves here, and that is displaced, and that displacement we can measure in the scale. So I hope you understand. Manometer, pressure measurement, incline, and well type. Then we are having the mechanical pressure. The previous pressure we are measuring the form of air or gas. Generally we are used for the gas. We are using this for the what, my dear student? I am using this for the gas purpose. But if you want to measure the mechanical pressure, which pressure you want to measure? A mechanical pressure. So if you want to measure the mechanical pressure, my dear student, so we need what? Do we need what, my dear student? We need the system, or we need the different type of measuring elements. So for the mechanical pressure, we having this Bourdon tube. We having what? Bourdon tube. In this Bourdon tube, it is a C structure, C shape, or helical metal tube. It is a C shape or helical metal tube. Here we are having the one closed, another one is open, and ranges up to 40 bar. How much bar? Ranges up to 40 bar. So we can measure up to the 40 bar. The tube has an oval cross section. Which type of cross section we have? Oval cross section. Oval cross section we have. If we having the oval cross section, my dear student, though the shape of a C, it behave like a shape of a C. For higher pressure ranges, the tube is bent into the shape of a helix. For higher pressure ranges, the tube is bent into the shape. We bent into the which shape? Shape for a helix. Make a helix structure. The oval cross section is obtained during bending. Which type of cross section? The oval cross section. Having this type of cross section, my dear student, oval cross section. If I'm talking about the oval cross section, is obtained during the banding. If banding is there, means if I am applying the pressure, it bands basically, it changes. So curved metallic tubes with elliptical cross section, sealed at one end. It is sealed, means closed from the one side. Trans to straighten means if it is a tube, I am applying a pressure, it move like this, straighten when pressure is applied. Okay, angular sensitivity is proportional to the applied force or pressure. You can say the angular sensitivity is proportional to the pressure which we are applied here. Okay, I hope you understand, better understand this thing. Now this is the simple diagram of it to identify the Bourdon tube, how the Bourdon tube pressure is working, basically how the Bourdon tube is working, how it works basically. The Bourdon tube pressure gauge is here. It look like this. Pointer is there, Bourdon tube is there. It is the tube and is there. Link is already given here where we connect. A toothed segment shown here. Movement, how we move this thing. Movement is there. A socket is there. Through this we can identify. Next we have the capsule pressure gauge. A capsule pressure gauge is basically fitted with the two diaphragms, rotating the end. If the end we have rotated, if we apply pressure on it, one diaphragm, it is on the center. So if gas passes through, it is for the gas. The previous one is basically for the mechanical pressure up to the 40 bar. That is the burden tube. But here in this capsule pressure gauge, we having diaphragms fitted. The middle diaphragms, if we throwing the air on it, if we passing the air, it moves rotate, and through this we can measure the pressure. Okay, like this. See here, diaphragm capsules. If we force is applied, it rotate. Pressure is applying. If pressure applying, it's rotate and it rotate. The deflects the pointer, and pointer reads the how much pressure we have. Okay, we can easily measure with the scale deflection, the pointer deflection in the scale. So I hope you better understand about the manometer. First the torque, basically the not torque, sorry, that is the transducer. So first is the transducer. What is transducer? Types of transducer already we have. In every lecture I will tell you this thing because these are the basics. Transducer and types of transducer we can use for the measure pressure measurement. So in this, the pressure measurement, we have manometer, incline type manometer, well type manometer. Then we are having the burden tube for mechanical pressure measurement. Burden tube is there, helical structure, C-type structure. Okay. And secondly, we have the capsule pressure gauge. We have this type of pressure gauge, a capsule pressure gauge, which is shown in this figure. So I hope you understand or better understand this thing now. These are some MCQs related with this thing. Which of the following is detected using manometer devices? Okay, we can use it. Options are given to pressure difference between manometric and measuring liquid, pH difference between manometric and measuring liquid, difference density between manometric and measuring liquid. So we use for the pressure. What is the difference between water and transformer oil as a manometric liquid? Water is used for the larger pressure differential. Transformer oil is used for larger pressure differential. Transformer has a evaporation. Water has evaporation. So let's go through it. Which of the following conversion take place in burden tube? Pressure to displacement, pressure to voltage, pressure to strain, so pressure to force. Okay. Which of the following device convert pressure to displacement? Diaphragm, bellow, capsule, all things are given here. So diaphragm is there. In which of the following categories be thin plate, diaphragm intubate? Okay, these are the transducer, primary, secondary, voltage measuring, spring balance. Burden tube is used for measurement of gauge pressure of gas, liquid, solid. So you can use for all. Capsules are made from diaphragm. True. It is made from. So true and false. True is there. Strain gauge is what? We all know. Potentiometer we know we use for, and burden tubes are for the shock, not sensitive to shock, less than 2 sensitive to shock, more sensitive to shock. So I already tell you this whole thing in my lecture. So you can answer all these MCQs very easily. These are the multiple choice question for you. Now these are the some reference books. Electrical and Electronics Measurement and Measuring Instruments by E.K. Sani. The publisher is Dhanpat Rai and Sons. Just go through it. It is a very good book, we can say. All measuring instruments and power system instrumentation. You can find both in a book, in this book. A.S. Morris is a very good book of international author. Prentice Hall, PHI, that is. So these are the references for understanding this topic. So I took some part of it from it, and you can also read these books. These are available in our library. Okay. Now thank you from my side, and thank you student for the patience listening. I hope you understand about the this topic, that is the pressure measurement transducers, the transducer which are using for the measurement of pressure. So I hope you better understand. So this is all about from my side. Thank you for listening.